Getting mad at actors. Because that makes an impact.
Because it makes me feel important.
Force them to apologize.
Quiet. 3, 2.
I think that made it creepy. I think it's a great opening for this.
What was that supposed to be? Welcome to Nerd Portal.
The show where we teleport you guys into the world of pop culture, current events, and doppelgangers.
I'm Braeden Langlois.
I'm Cierra Caballera. And are we? Are we really who we say we are?
Let's talk about us.
Us, not us. We're
not us.
We're not talking about
Jordan Peele's Us. His brand new movie.
Just came out, and it's pretty great, but we have a lot to talk about.
Confusion.
It's inspiring confusion.
And self-identity issues all across the nation.
Yes, it's causing twins to look at one another.
Be like, which one's the real? Yeah. Which one's the real one?
Yeah, you got something
Which one
to
of us is going to do cartwheels, and which one of us is going to do handstands?
Yeah, which one of us is from underground?
Which one of us is going to last longer in a fight?
Yeah, bring it.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers, yes.
For Jordan Peele's Us. A lot. We're going to go into some deep discussion.
Yes. So if you have not seen Us,
then what are you doing
what
here,
are you
silly?
doing? Get out of
crazy?
here.
What are you doing here?
Go back to
silly.
the sewer.
Go back to your tunnel. You crazy, you crazy.
But, okay, so as we know, Jordan Peele has definitely become a force to be reckoned with as far as horror films go. He has gotten an Oscar for Get Out. He is now hosting the new Twilight Zone that's coming.
Which we talked about in an earlier episode.
Yes, we did. And if you know that, then you're cool. And if you don't, get out of here.
Get out of here, silly.
And now he has the film Us that's out, and it's breaking records, first of all, and second, it has a lot of people boggled, and third, a lot of people think it might go for an Oscar, especially with Lupita's amazing performance, by the way. Amazing.
But if we learned anything from Toni Collette in Hereditary, she's probably going to get snuffed. Which I'm upset about.
Can we just have a horror film with Lupita and Toni Collette together?
That'd be awesome. Hey, Jordan Peele, I know you're watching this.
Hi.
Your next movie needs to have Lupita Nyong'o and Toni Collette. Only the two of them.
Just them two.
Where they play each other's doppelgangers. I know it doesn't make sense now, but I have confidence in you.
Can they be best friends or something like?
It's not even a horror movie. They're just best friends. It's just a buddy cop movie with Toni Collette and Lupita Nyong'o. That'd be great.
But it has to have a horror element. We gotta.
There's some scary bad guys.
There's some scary bad guys.
And that's all we need.
Some sort of supernatural element. It'll be great. And then, and Lupita could act her butt off. I don't know. And Toni could just
She could play 4 versions of herself.
She could play 4 versions. Okay. Toni Collette was in United States of Terror, all right? She could play like 5 different characters all at once, all right?
Okay, so let's do Toni Collette, Lupita Nyong'o, and James McAvoy.
And James McAvoy.
There's like 40 characters between the 3 of them.
Between the 3 of them.
Boom.
Yeah, and that's it.
Movie.
That's it.
Perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's going to win every Oscar.
I think so.
But back to Us.
But if they do that, they have to say thank you to us.
Oh, yes.
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 In the speech.
Yes. To us specifically.
To us.
To us. Not Jordan Peele's Us.
Us. Okay, so walking into the theater, or just seeing the trailers, what were your initial predictions or thoughts that? What did you think was going to happen?
So this was actually the first movie that I saw that made me really regret watching the trailers.
Really?
Because seeing the trailers, I was like, I wouldn't say I was confused, but I was very intrigued. I was like, okay, I want to see how this plays out. I like the concept of this. And then after seeing the movie, you realize if you go back and watch trailers that it gives away significant moments of the film. And it made me very upset of feeling like I was already presented with everything I needed to know. Because that's, for a horror movie, for a thriller that does kind of have like a twist to it, I felt like it was all just played out for me. And even from seeing the trailers and with a lot of the way it was created, it felt almost predictable to me.
Yeah.
Is from the first shot of the film, I could already infer a lot about the story.
Yeah.
And maybe that just might be me being
Or you're
all like,
just
oh,
really,
I like film, I
really
read
good
screenplays. Maybe I'm really good at guessing. But again, I felt a little cheated because it was a double-edged sword in the sense that like everything I feel that was like represented in that movie that played some sort of role or was focused on like by the camera or something like that was revisited. Everything had a purpose, which I like. That's how a lot of movies need to be, and a lot of movies aren't. But once I kind of realized that a little ways into my first watch of the movie, I've seen it twice now. Once I realized that, it became even more predictable because like, oh, that's gonna come back. I wonder how. And I was like, oh, it's probably gonna come back like this. And it didn't really ruin the experience for me, but it made it a little less impactful. And it for me, it was kind of tenuous to even call it a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not very scary. I see it more as a thriller.
It's more of a thriller.
Especially after being able to predict what was going on.
Yeah.
It made it significantly less scary. Definitely tense. There are great moments of tension.
A lot of tension.
I was never like
gore.
Scared for the characters or just scared for myself.
And also there was a lot of moments of humor alleviating a lot of that.
Which I liked. I think it had a pretty good balance of humor and horror for like nowadays.
Yes, exactly.
Because a lot of horror movies recently take themselves way too seriously. And the ones that do try and have an element of humor don't really balance it that well. There's only like one moment where I was like, this might be going on a little too long. But other than that, I was like, okay, Jordan Peele is a good drama and horror writer.
Yeah. And comedy writer. Yeah.
I said horror instead of comedy, but I still said comedy, which is what's important.
Yes.
Because I know comedy. Anyways.
But okay, so as I was watching the film, and I was picking up a lot of different cues and subtleties, and I pretty much kind of was guessing the end, but I was kind of like trying to sway myself, like, no, like I don't want to like guess too early, like that she is, she is the doppelganger. You know what I mean?
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
They switched places. Just get that out of the way so it's easier to discuss.
We're gonna put it on the table.
Yeah, we're gonna put it on the table right here. Hey, like editors, can you put that on the table right here? I know we ask a lot of you.
We
do. Just this one little thing, one last time. Can you just put it on the table right here?
Right here.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
We love you. We promise we do. We won't leave you.
We won't.
We're never gonna give you up.
Never
gonna
let
let
you
you
down.
Never gonna turn around.
And desert you.
Is it dessert or hurt you?
That's a good question.
But
we need lyrics up here.
Hey, editors, can you put the lyrics up here? I know we said just one last thing. Just put the lyrics up there. Okay.
That's all we ask.
I still don't know it. I can't read. I'm sorry. I forgot. I temporarily forgot how to read.
Yeah. This entire video. It's
That's
fine.
what this is. This is a big prank. You've been pranked.
Geez. Well, hey, April 1st is almost here.
Or is it? Or is it April 1st doppelganger?
Oh my God.
Ooh, caught ya.
I kind of predicted what would happen in the end, and I had the feeling that was the case. But I was like, no, I want to give this movie a chance to kind of circle back around and explain itself and everything like that. You want to give
the biggest fan theory before the movie coming out. I was like, oh, I think she's the doppelganger the whole time.
Yeah.
And like that I didn't really buy into it all that much beforehand because I was like, I want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, like the thought was in the back of my mind, and as the movie went along, I was like, I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't know that they're gonna go for that twist, and I was glad.
Yeah.
And then they did it.
Then they did it.
And it kind of upset me a little bit because it felt like kind of a cheap ending when they could have done a little more vague. One way to describe it that I was talking to some people about earlier is that you could have gone a little more vague, so you would have had more like suspension of disbelief and just more like, okay, well, I'll just let that slide. You could have been a little more vague with just the whole mythos of the tethered and stuff in general, or you could have gone like really hard into developing this mythology, this whole world around like the tethered and their tunnels and that life. But this kind of just like us kind of existed in the middle of that.
Yeah.
On some aspects, it was too vague and created plot holes, and some it went too much in the details and answered questions that weren't being asked or created plot details that weren't really asked for. And unfortunately, I feel that kind of brought it down for me. The whole twist ending, because I enjoyed the movie greatly.
Yes.
Up until that point, but it detracted a lot from me. And upon my second watch, especially, I realized that whole flashback scene at the end felt very long. It did. Like rewatching and knowing that it was coming, the amount of time that it took place, just within the actual runtime of the movie, felt so long, and it felt even more needless. And it felt like, okay, like, come on, let's get to the point. And it took me out of the movie, which I didn't like, because the first time I was very invested the entire time.
I like when I only really watched the first trailer. I tried not to watch too much of like the newer trailers or anything, but the idea in my head was like, okay, this is going to be like the Strangers, but with doppelgangers. Yeah.
Okay, Strangers was all right. Strangers 2, Pray at Night, or whatever.
Was really fun, but not the same. It was fun, but bad. Fun, but bad. So if you want to have a good time in the theater or at your home,
you want to have a good
it.
time on Netflix.
Not good time on Netflix, but don't expect that it's going to be like a good horror film. Anyway, so I was like, okay, it's going to be a home invasion style film with doppelgangers. Sweet, this is really cool. I like this idea. It's sick. But I did not expect for it to be a bigger thing where like everybody, you get a doppelganger, you get a doppelganger, you get a doppelganger, you get a doppelganger.
Do I get a doppelganger?
Yes, you do, Braeden. Awesome. You get a doppelganger.
Awesome. That's all I've wanted for Christmas.
Yes, and so everyone gets a doppelganger, and it becomes Hands Across America. Sort of, they're all wanting to live above ground. They want to take back their lives.
Right, and that was part of where, because I had the same kind of expectation. It's like, oh, I think this is going to be smaller scale kind of home invasion, because Get Out was very smaller scale. But in that, it was also a lot more subtle. But from again, like I said, from the opening shot, and it talking about Hands Across America, and it's the red silhouettes, and we'd already seen the imagery of like them in the red jumpsuits holding hands. I said, it is bigger than I immediately thought. It's gonna be a bigger thing. It's gonna be bigger than this.
Yeah.
And I was right.
Yeah. Yeah. Walking in and seeing that imagery, I was like, this is gonna be a lot bigger, isn't it? Like. But I don't know, I kind of don't want it to be, but at the same time, it went there. And which I didn't know what to expect for like Elizabeth Moss's character or anything. I was like, maybe she's just, she just gets affected by this because it's a smaller scale. Like,
we didn't see
look like
any of their doubles.
Yeah, like
hers or Tim Heidecker's. Honestly, he did a great job too.
He did.
I think all the
Tim Heidecker.
Good job, Tim Heidecker. I know you're watching this.
I know you are.
So. Great job, buddy.
All while doing your purple mattress advertisements.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're watching.
But yeah, I think it had good performance, and it was a very visually great film.
Yes.
But I felt the kind of story elements were a little lacking. And like I said, I thought Get Out and its direction, execution, and writing was a lot more subtle. But also, I think part of that may be attributed to like Jordan Peele spent like almost like I think like a decade on Get Out and like rewriting and scrapping different versions of it over and over again. This one, he didn't spend that level of time on, and I think it does kind of show, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which I hate, because I think he's very, very skilled and very, very talented, and I still think this is a pretty solid film, and it's better than a lot of modern horror movies.
That's coming out now.
But there were just like little issues with the writing, or even little technical issues that did kind of bother me. I was talking to some people earlier, and there is a blatant continuity error, which
there is,
which I was so blown away by the sheer caliber of these filmmakers that something like that would slip through, and there were a lot of continuity editing issues and plot holes that affected that took me out of the viewing experience, which I hate when that happens, because part of how I measure like this is only part of how I measure a good film, is how well it keeps my attention. Because me, I've got a very short attention span. And so for a movie to just like keep me invested the entire time, I think that's a significant feat.
Yeah.
Because I know
like,
me.
Yes.
And the first time I watched it, I was definitely pretty invested because I had pretty high expectations for it. And I wanted to pay attention to it because I knew he's very, he likes to do a lot of, Jordan Peele likes to do a lot of symbolism and stuff like that. But the second time around, and again, knowing what's coming, I was pulled out of it a lot. And I think it does have, it's not as rewatchable as Get Out.
Get Out,
I think once you see Us like once or twice, you're probably good. But Get Out, it is one of those movies where you see something new every time. For Us, with the whole like everything has meaning, once you've kind of seen everything, that's kind of it. There's not really much more to the experience. Doesn't really sit with you. And I know that part of what his process of going into this was he was kind of disheartened by the genre confusion of Get Out. And that also kind of upset me because then it felt like he was kind of sacrificing his art to appease a more mass audience. Which sucks because Get Out was amazing. It was incredible, genre confusion aside. I don't need a film to be like.
I don't need it to fit into
one of my favorite films of all time, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I'd classify that as a almost genreless film. It hits aspects of so many different like what we call genres.
I don't know. I love films that really just break the boundaries of what a genre is. Like, you know, has all these elements and stuff. And I don't know, they try and put it in a box, but I just don't think you can really
I felt like Us didn't really break free of anything.
No, it was definitely, it felt like a horror.
It stood out compared
like a thriller
to what's,
comedy kind of situation.
It stood out in comparison to what it's like competing against. But other than that, I don't know that it really did anything super significant.
But overall, it's a fantastic film, and I think you all should
definitely
go
worth
see
watching.
You guys should go see it. And though I have a feeling that a lot of people's eyes are going to be on it as far as awards, especially for Lupita Nyong'o.
An expectation for that.
Yeah, high expectation for that. Of course, you know, if Lupita does not win Best Actress or anything, she definitely will get a Chainsaw Award. That's for sure for Best Actress. So keep out.
But tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think about Us. Not about Us.
Not about us.
Because we're sensitive.
About Jordan Peele's Us.
Yes,
please don't say anything about us.
We're very sensitive.
Yeah.
Our feelings will get hurt.
Yeah.
I know last week's comment really hurt you. I'm sorry.
Just tell us about the movie.
Just tell us about the movie. We gotta talk off camera for a second. I gotta make sure he's okay. Anyway, send Braeden some positive things. And let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Us, whether a lot of the trailers spoiled it for you, what your predictions were, and and we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye. Hey guys, welcome to Nerd Portal, where we move around in weird ways, hoping to get more views.
Yeah, we gotta get them views. All of the views.
Please. We're so hungry. Okay. Here, I'll naturally be moving around, maybe like this.
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay. Yeah, fuck you, pillow.